Welcome to the video. It's time to fix everything wrong with the Panigale. Things like that. Things like that. Things like that. That. And that, 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 and that. First things first, we're going to try and fix the screeching on starting. I believe it's the starter motor. When Desmond was done, it was diagnosed as that, even though you might think spark clutch, so we'll see. Hopefully it will fix it. The starter motor I've got is a slightly upgraded unit, or from what I see on the website, so hopefully it'll go with the screeching, but one way of finding out. So first things first, let's get the fairings off. So obviously on mine I've got Zeus fasteners that I've used instead of the normal screws. We usually find on a normal 1199, but either way it's very straightforward. I've only got one screw left, which is at the bottom right near the footrest. So I'll just undo that one and whip the rest of the Zeus fasteners out. Actually reminds me a bit of an old 916 series bike. Next up, get it on the old ABBA stand, as if by magic. There she goes. I find the ABBA stand quite useful actually. If you haven't used one of these, it's a good way of getting your bike in the air without having to have a big bulky bike ramp in your garage. So yeah, I find it very useful. You can either have it level, like I'm going to show you how to do here. You basically just secure the rear wheel, or you can, if you don't do that, it'll put it in a wheelie position, so the front end will be in the air, and back wheel will stay on the floor. You can change it around and do it the other way to get the back end in the air. Good for cleaning or getting certain parts as you need to. It helps to just lock it off and put that pin in. So I thought while we was going to do the starter motor, obviously to do that we need to drop the oil, because as soon as you take that out it'll leak oil out. So sump plug off first. So part of this I'm going to do an oil change anyway, because it needs an oil change. It's been about a year since the last one. I think it was 300V that was in there before, so it's quite red, and there wasn't a great deal on the sump plug. The residue on there, 3 bond, that's used by Ducati. Now this is the oil filter housing. I don't think, normally what you can do is you can get 2 larger screws that are threaded slightly bigger than the ones that secure it to the side of the engine, and use those, and as you wind them in it pushes it out, but I don't think my cover's actually threaded. So in the absence of any better ideas, I'll just use these 2 spanners just to gently lever it out until I could get enough purchase to pull the cover out entirely. So like I say, being as gentle as I can, and I've already got some foil there to catch the drips of the oil, else it literally goes everywhere. It saves making a bit of mess. You can see on the casing as well, there's a bit of paint flaking on there, so good old Ducati engine paint. and then lever the filter out. So the bike is 12 years old now, so just a couple of bits that could do with a bit of TLC, which eventually I'll get round to. A bit of powder coating here and there. So next up, we've got 2 new O-rings that go around the oil filter cover. You don't have to do these each time. When you speak to Ducati themselves, they don't always do these. I don't believe anyway. But I thought while I was in there, and they're only a couple of pence each, so I might as well get these changed. A little bit of oil to lubricate, and back on they go. Just checking they're the right ones. For once, I didn't bother to rush things. Normally, I'm a bit impatient and try and get these things on as quick as I can, but this time, not so much. So just a little bit of oil to lubricate them when I stick them back in, basically. And we've got the sump plug and washer. Now, I don't know if I filmed this later on. I originally used the original sump plug, which I just cleaned up with a washer. But part way through, or afterwards, I can't remember, I decided that I wanted a new sump plug. So I got hold of a new sump plug and again, new crush washer, and put a new one in. Which I can't remember what I filmed now, so I can't remember what point you saw it. And you see me pointing out there's a sort of thin lip and a large lip, shall we say, and the thin lip goes to the top, so if you're ever stuck on which way round it goes, so it's a pain in the backside basically. I'm not even sure if it going the wrong way, but again, you saw how much of a pain in the backside it was to get out, so rather than have to get it in and out, just put it in the right way to start with. Again, this is just how I've done it. You know, I'm more of a tea making expert than someone I fuss about with bike maintenance, but I think we're alright with basics. Where I could check the torque specs, I did, and tighten everything up as per those specs. That all changed very straightforward. Like I say, even I can do it, so I'm sure you can as well if you fancied it. There you go. I'll pop up the torque specs on the screen for you as to what they are. So next up, it's time to actually get on with the starter motor. First up, battery needs to come off. Again, all relatively straightforward, but if you're anything like me, I don't like electricity at all. You can't see it, and it don't feel very good when it zaps you, so I don't really like electricity. But straightforward back change, there's no dramas. I think I actually got a new battery recently, so under warranty. The old one died, so it's nice to see that's ready to go. While I was getting the camera down to have a good shot of the starter motor, I did notice that the side stand switch wire had got a bit hot at some point. So I got one ordered. Next up, you'll see why in a second, but I'm just loosening these so I can get some clearance for getting my hands in there, and later on when it comes to removing the starter motor itself. There you go, just that little bit of movement's going to make no end of difference when it comes to sticking the starter motor through. in and out. Also remove the lambda sensor. It's a bit tricky to get a spanner in there, but you can. It's not that bad. A couple of turns to loosen it, or part turns. And then I went up to where it plugs in and just removed a couple of the plugs, just to make access easier for taking the wire to the lambda sensor out. Now you just need to loosen this bolt off a little bit to allow clearance for the wire to the sensor to drop through. Then it's easier just to unscrew it. It looks like a bit of a mess when you first look at it and start to work out what's what, but it's actually quite straightforward routing, so it's not a problem at all. And then wind out the rest of the threads of the sensor. Bit fiddly, but it's nothing that can't be done if you just take your time. And success, we've got it out. So that's the starter motor there. And the two bolts are sort of facing southeast northwest. So again, it's a bit tight on clearance to get spanners in there, but you can. The first one I'm removing here is the actual cable that attaches to the starter motor. It's got a little cover on it, a little sheath, which you'll see later on in the video how you put it back on. But yeah, just detaching the cable from the battery first off. Next up is to get the two bolts that actually hold the starter motor itself in. I can't remember what size these are, but they're not massive. And again, that little bit of clearance from moving that bottom panel helps you get to them. Once those two are out, you should just be able to pull the starter motor out. As you can see, it's a bit of a faff to get your hand in. But it does drop out, and then pull it through under the engine. It's a bit tricky trying to move the camera and hold it steady at the same time. I'm just trying to give you the best view possible, really, so you can see what's going on. And onto the table, you've got the new one on the left, obviously, and the old one on the right. I just thought I'd open it up to see what the state of it is. Got no idea what I'm looking for inside, but a lot of stuff looked burnt and nasty and all the rest of it. So it definitely seen better days. When you look at the state of that, someone far cleverer than I will know what these bits are, but I just know it looks pretty knackered. Yeah, I meant to do that, by the way. Next up, refitting is exactly the same as removal, but by now you know what you're doing. So stick it in place. Anything just to get it in the right spot. It's a bit tricky because obviously the splines on the end need to go into the gears inside. So I've just used something just to tap it home, just ever so gently. And luckily it went straight in. Next up, back on with sort of getting the 2 bolts back in. And you see they're nicely installed. I don't know why, but I put the wire up top and early routed it. So to save getting it twisted, I just pre-twisted the wire on the lambda sensor before I screwed it back in. There aren't many threads on it, so that did the trick. Next up, this is the cable from the battery to the starter. You see I use a cable tie to pull back the sheaths ever so slightly, because with the room you've got, it's a real pain to actually get to it and get the bolt back in. So if you do that initially, it allows you to screw it back in. I didn't show, but use some dielectric grease, and then once all done and tightened up, just clip the cable tie and job done. Refit all your plugs, put them back in their the little slots. There's quite a few of these. It really does amaze me how many of them are flying around and how many are sort of open to the elements. And then finally back round to refilling the oil. For this one I just used the recommended shell from the dealer. You see it's filled to the top mark there, which I was happy with. Okay, battery's on. The cable tie shortly. That just stops it wobbling really. I'm pretty much about done now, so thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. Please like and subscribe, it really helps the channel, especially a small one like this. And back to me to see us out. That didn't seem to go too badly, did it? So I think we'll stop there for this video. It's probably quite long already, with an oil change and the starter motor done. As you know, we've got a few more bits to get done, so we'll probably do that in the next video. See you then. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.